Assalamualaikum warahmatullah. We'll test whether everything is okay. Sound is on. Okay. Good. I think we are ready. And we can get started, inshallah. All right. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Before we start, Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Alhamdulillahi Rabbil Alamin. Wa salati wa salam wa rasulillahi sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Alright, and welcome to another live stream for DigitalDeen. And today we're gonna look at Doomscrolling today. In the last live stream, we looked at AI. Today we're gonna look at Doomscrolling, inshallah. So we get started with our presentation for today. All right. So first question is, what is doom scrolling? All right. Basically, we all have fallen for it. I've been guilty of it a few times myself. Came back straight from work. I want a break, and I open one app to start watching, and I keep on watching. I keep on scrolling. I keep on watching, and before I know it, after an hour, the time has just flown by. All right. And well, that's the problem with doom scrolling. But the question is, let's find out from you. Do you agree that doom scrolling isn't a problem? What do you all think? You can put it in the comments if you want to as well. I'm not going to be marking this, so don't worry. But do you think it's a problem? All right. So, what is doom scrolling? I think I mentioned it earlier, 30 minutes later, you wanted to check one message, yeah? You wanted to do one thing. But the minute you open one thing, you saw another notification for something else, and then this thing leads to another thing, and then you open the other thing, and before you know it, 15 to 10 minutes gone, when you just wanted to check one thing. All right? And this is doom scrolling. Now, well, we tend to blame it on the content. We call it the algorithm. Yeah, it's the algorithm's fault. What it does is, it keeps on feeding you the content that you want to see. All right? Bad news keeps us watching. Outrage keeps us watching. Entertainment, curiosity. All right? But then if you really think about it, if there are two people that are shown the same feed, they might behave differently. So maybe the problem isn't really the content. Now let's take a look at people. Now, Forbes mentioned that 1 in 3 adults describe themselves as being addicted to the phone. All right, now this is not anecdotal. People are actually spending a significant amount of time on their screens, on their devices. All right, and it's a question that we should ask ourselves: why are we spending so much time? And interestingly enough, there is a study, a 2019 Stanford study, where they found that removing Instagram didn't remove the behavior. What does that mean? Okay, so for example, they got about a few thousand people to stop using Facebook, deleted the app. They told them no Facebook. And well, for some people that worked, the app had been removed. But for many people, what happened is they transferred that doom scrolling from Facebook to another app. All right. So yeah, I deleted Facebook. I deleted Instagram. But then I still have that urge. I still have that desire. So what happens is now I just find another app. And TikTok was the other app that came along. And even if I deleted TikTok, people just moved on to the next one. All right. It works for some people, but it didn't work for many people, actually, to be honest. So, the behavior tells us what we're doing, all right? And what we do is we scroll, we watch, we refresh, and then we check. So, these are the things we do on our phones, and these are the things that keep us connected to doom scrolling. And behind every action here is actually this human desire, right? I mentioned earlier at the beginning, I'm one guilty. I use scrolling as a form of an escape. Long hours at work, hard time at work, I just want to scroll and escape. Well, some people go on their phones to connect, text their friends, give a call to their friend. All right, others use it for stimulation. Fair enough. They play games, all right? Some use it to get updated with the latest news. And then some go online for belonging. They want to find out what's the latest update with their fandom, or what's the latest interesting story about their celebrity. So that is where the human desire plays an important role. Now, just like I mentioned in the last one, like every AI conversation starts with a prompt, every scroll begins with a human decision, all right? Before the algorithm gives me anything, I actually reach for the device. So what is happening? All right. All right. So there's an innate motivation in us to start the scroll in the first place. Yes, there's notifications. We can ignore the notifications. And sometimes we do. But then there's an innate motivation inside us that drives us to do it. Right? And DigitalDeen identifies these 4 driving forces. All right? Basically, they're desire, emotion, reason, and intention. Now, all 4 forces are human. It is part of what we are. All right? And none of them is automatically evil. But the question is, which one is driving you? So at DigitalDeen, we have identified that this 4 driving forces are the one that causes this digital problem. All right? And this desire, and the problem is, at the foundation, it is driven by desire. Now, desire isn't thinking about what we're going or what we're going to do next. It just wants the next hit of stimulation. And that is where the algorithm does a fantastic job of feeding our desires. It makes us say, oh, what's next? Show me something interesting. Show me something new. If you realize TikTok, what TikTok does is, although you swipe off to get off of it, they'll show you another video before they get you off the app itself. So these are deliberate attempts. All right, but that is what drives us and our desire. Next, sometimes we scroll not because we want any information. Sometimes because we're lonely, sometimes because we're angry, and that phone becomes somewhere to put that feeling. Only after that, then reason eventually appears. Much later, maybe 30 minutes later, maybe 40 minutes later, you realize, oh no, wait, it's time to sleep. But by the time it was too late, yeah, 40 minutes have gone by. You probably wanted to have dinner. You probably wanted to text your friend. You probably wanted to start going out and get ready. But reason only kicked in much later. And then only after that realize, okay, why did I open my app in the first place? To learn, to check something. And that's what happens to me most of the time. Then I realized that I wanted to check my email. Then the minute I opened it was my WhatsApp notification. I start reading the message. I start scrolling and scrolling and scrolling. And then after 10 minutes, I realized, what am I on my phone for again in the first place? Right? And that is the digital problem. So the problem is desire sits at the foundation. Our emotions react to what our desire finds. Reason tries to make sense of it, but only after 30 minutes, after 40 minutes. And then we forget the intention altogether. So what happens here is we're no longer directing our technology. We are being pulled through it. Well, you might say that the algorithm does it. But then, what the algorithm does is actually, it doesn't define the user, but it reveals what is driving the user. Now, the feed doesn't create our desires. It actually learns it, the algorithm, and then it amplifies it. All right? The algorithm shapes what we see, but it is our desires, all right, that actually keep us there. All right? We should have been driven not by our desire, right? But because we find ourselves getting stuck there. Our emotions keeps us there, and the order and the reasoning just goes further back, and the intention even goes even further back. So, what is the solution then? How do we stop doom scrolling? Now, DigitalDeen doesn't begin by saying, let's delete Instagram. Let's throw away your phone. Let's get off the grid and live in the mountains. Based on the Stanford study I mentioned earlier, even if we delete the app, we'll find another way. We'll find another app. We'll find doing something else. So what is the solution then? Well, the solution is we flip the order. That is how the DigitalDeen pyramid tries to solve it. Instead of having desire at the foundation of the pyramid, intention becomes the foundation. So ask yourself, why am I here? Make it deliberate, make it intentional, and then reason comes closer, and then you are able to hold back. Right? Emotion is still there. Emotion is acknowledged, but it doesn't command us. And desire still exists. All right? Now, all this are part of us, of our humanity, and Islam doesn't ask us to become emotionless robots. But if we flip this, desire no longer controls us. Now, this is deeply consistent with our religion now. Islam doesn't teach us that every desire is bad. All right? We eat, we rest, we enjoy things. This is part of our nafs. But desire has boundaries. And intention gives direction to our actions. And then we can start to use reason. And the question comes, do I want this? All right? Where is this teaching me? All right. So Islam teaches the opposite, and that is the beautiful thing about Islam. The world, the secular world, often tells us follow your heart, follow your feelings, follow your desires. But Islam says, and Islam teaches the opposite. Ask a better question. Why am I doing this? Intention comes first, and the believer always asks, why am I doing this? And that is what DigitalDeen is all about. All right? Looking and operating from intention. In Islam, now this isn't a DigitalDeen idea, but this is an Islamic idea. Right? A lot of things in Islam every act of worship starts with intention. Salah begins with intention. Fasting begins with intention. Hajj begins with intention. So the believer is constantly trained to examine motivation. So why shouldn't we do the same with technology? If intention matters before prayer, surely intention matters before we start scrolling. So when desire leads, technology actually becomes dangerous, because now technology amplifies impulses. Let's take online shopping, for example. They keep showing you more and more. They add in discounts. All right. They say Amazon, for example, you get shipping on the day itself if you buy more. And it amplifies your impulse to purchase. These impulses then becomes habits. And habits become identity. And that's the part where it becomes dangerous. But if we flip it, when intention leads, now that's a different story. Technology becomes beneficial. Technology becomes a tool. It becomes a servant. And it becomes something that supports our goals instead of allowing it to control us. So, doom scrolling isn't the problem. Intention is. So, I'm not giving a complicated 7-step digital detox solution. No, step 1, step 2, step 3. It's very easy. Try just this one thing. Before you pick up your phone, ask yourself, why am I opening this? And when you ask yourself, reason comes in, you're like, okay, we're going to do this because we have to do that. And if the answer is clear and you've achieved that purpose, then that is the solution to doom scrolling. And so that's the question I want you to leave with. I'm not here to examine how many hours was screen time. I'm not here to tell you what apps to delete. All right. My question is, what is driving me right now? What is driving you right now? Are you using the phone because you're run by desire? Or is intention the one driving you? Because if intention isn't driving you, then something else will. Remember, technology was purposely designed, intentionally designed to grab your attention. So that is where you come in with intention to try to stop. At DigitalDeen, we believe technology should serve people, not the other way around. And that is why our framework is based on three things: intention, balance, and excellence. And that's how I approach a lot of things in DigitalDeen, because what we do, we should start with intention. We need to regulate it with balance, and we aim for excellence. And this excellence is ihsan, excellence to benefit, to please Allah. Alright, so I hope that we have been clear. I hope that I have helped you with today's session. It got some clarity about how we can fight doom scrolling. It's not that difficult, and it isn't a problem. It's our intention. Right, so if you like more reflections and resources, I will have another session next month. Feel free to visit digitaldeen.org to look at some of my courses. Also, some of my this month, alhamdulillah, I had the opportunity for my article to be published in AMUST, which is an Australian Muslim publication here in Australia. So good things are happening for DigitalDeen, alhamdulillah. But my point here is to help Muslims make sense of the digital world, and I hope that today's session was able to help you with that. And inshallah, next month we'll have another live stream that will be more useful, that will be useful for you as well. Alright, so today that is all I have. Inshallah, it has been useful for all of you. And if there's any questions, you can contact me at my website, and inshallah, I'll try my best to answer you and reply you when possible. Right, that's all for today, inshallah. We will see you again, and Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.